Hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Maruti Suzuki has again come out with this stellar set of numbers. In fact, in two ways. The stock, of course, hit an all-time high today, and the monthly sales for August has also reported to be an all-time high. Congratulations, Shashank San, and thank you for speaking
Thank
to
you.
us. Two records in one day, of course, in a month, but yes, the stock reaching an all-time high, and of course, all-time high of sales. Sir, what do you attribute this to? First, we'll talk about sales, sir.
So sales, yeah, you're right. This is the highest ever sale of in a single month from Maruti Suzuki, and of course, the market has been buoyant. We have seen so far the highest ever April, the highest ever May, the highest ever June, the highest ever July, highest ever August, and in fact, August month was the highest ever any month of in any year in the history of Indian auto market. So I think it has been buoyant in many ways. We have also seen the other big reason is that there has been a increase in production levels. So while earlier also the bookings were there, but we were not able to service that bookings because of the production related issues. We had semiconductor crisis for a long time, and also during the COVID 2 years off and on there were supply chain issues. But now, in last 2 months, we have seen quite a significant improvement as far as the vehicle production is concerned because of the semiconductor components availability, and that's a major also reason why we have seen an increase in the wholesale and the retail numbers. Third is rural still continues to be good. We have seen while the monsoon is like -8%, but the Kharif sowing is still at the same level as last year. So the sentiments in rural is still quite positive. In fact, rural growth was positive. And we believe also the last and also one of the most important reason for this large numbers is there have been a large number of SUVs which have been launched by different OEMs, including Maruti Suzuki. We now have four SUVs, which has and it's a very growing segment. In fact, most of the growth has come from SUV, and being present there in with large number of models that now we have has given us a impetus for the larger volumes that you see today.
The volume says that we are seeing for sorry, yeah. So the volume says that we are seeing for SUVs stand at over 100%, while the hatchback segment are at 45 to 50%. How do you attribute this to, sir? The decline in 45 to 50% for hatchbacks and entry level, and over 100% growth for SUVs.
Yeah, so SUV, of course, because of the large number of products which we have launched since August of last year. Actually, Grand Vitara in August of last year we just had one vehicle, which was the Brezza, and subsequently, knowing this weakness, because our overall market share was being affected, we launched in September the Grand Vitara. Then in April and May we launched the Chimney and the Fronx, and the Invicto as well. So that has given us a good large numbers. That explains the positive growth. Also, of course, the consumer preference has shifted towards the body type of SUVs. So both reasons have contributed to the large growth you see in SUV. On the other hand, the hatch segment has come down. Yes, it was 34% of the overall market last year. This year so far, it's just around 30.5%. And the significant decline, of course, which you see in the numbers is largely attributed to the Alto 800 going away. It has been replaced by the Alto K10 at a higher price point. And generally speaking, the hatches segment has been showing some weakness over the years because of the increasing price levels and the high price elasticity that consumers in that segment have.
Okay, sure, sir. Where are the commodity prices going, sir? But before I come to commodity prices, I'd like to ask you a follow-on question, sir. We also saw the sale of the sedan Ciaz going down by about 44%. So, are you attributing this to the factor that Maruti sedans are on a verge of decline?
No, so Ciaz numbers obviously because of the larger ratings in many of the other models we chose, the production was a little less. But generally speaking, if you look at the sedan segment, it has been declining over the years. In fact, it was around 24% of the market just 5-6 years back. It's now less than 10% of the market. In fact, in August, it further declined to just above 9%. And within this sedan segment, it's the entry sedan, which is almost three-fourths of the sedan market, where we have the Desire. And of course, we are doing some very good numbers in Desire, and Desire is now is in the top 10 models in the industry. So the largely the decline you would have seen has been in this segment per se of the medium of the middle level hatches and the premium middle level sedans and the premium sedan. And that I think is reflecting across the entire industry and also obviously putting pressure on CRs as well.
Right, sir. And how are commodity prices panning out, sir? The festive season is right above us now, and how are commodity prices looking like? Is there any price hike, or the price is going to be stable for some time?
So commodity prices have in the last few quarters softened a little bit, although they remain high by historical. If you look at the historical perspective, remain quite high. So copper, for example, $8,500 or so had gone up to $10,000. So it's climbed down from those levels. But compared with what it was around $5,500 2 years back, it's still pretty high. So also steel. So while we have seen some amount of softening in the commodity prices, but certainly they remain at a highly elevated level compared with the historical prices that we saw 2 years or more back.
Sure, sir. And also, the festive season has begun, sir. Onam and other festivals also coming to and officially kickstarting the festive season in India. What's the outlook for festive season, sir?
So the outlook of festival is, of course, still quite positive. Generally speaking, the festive season starts from the 17th of August till the Bhai Dooj period. This time the Bhai Dooj is on the 14th of November. So in that period, roughly 23 to 26% of the annual sales happen. If we are going by historical data. This year, it is expected that the volumes in the industry, PV industry, should touch around 41 lakh. So by that simple calculation, we should have 1 million sale in the festive season for the first time ever.
Wow.
Last year it was some 8 lakh 34,000 or something. So and it was the highest ever in 2021, which was 9 lakh 15,000 or so. So we are looking at very good levels. Of course, there are two factors we have to watch out for. One is the rain deficiency, which we have seen that should not spoil the sentiment in the rural markets. And also, if the food inflation gets affected because of that, and you see an increase in interest rates, which translates into increase in the retail interest rates as well, then that could be a dampener because the 80% of the retails in the industry depends on retail finance.
Right, sure, sir. And also, sir, very consumer-centric question. With Invicto also receiving good bookings, sir, both the cars in this segment, particularly the MPV SUV segment, the Innova and the Invicto, have again started to face a long waiting queue, sir. Invicto was seen as a good alternative to the Innova from Maruti stable, and there were expectations and hopes that there would be lesser waiting time. So again, if we assume that it's about a year waiting, don't you think the company should probably act further and be more proactive in delivering the vehicles, sir?
Yes, so surely one of the only way you can actually reduce the waiting period by increased supply, and that's what we are trying to do. We have been successful, as I just mentioned, in July and August with our other models like the Ertiga, the XL6, the Brezza, the Vitara, the Fronx, and so on. And hopefully, with the Invicto, we are also trying to increase the availability so that we can reduce the waiting periods for our consumers.
Sure, sir. And also towards the end, what's next at Maruti Suzuki stable? 4 SUVs already kind of ruling the market. EVs is going to take some time. So, what is the next thing buzzing at Maruti Suzuki?
Yeah, so SUVs, I'm glad you mentioned that because, it was one of our weak areas, and after we introduced the SUVs, we have become the number one SUV player, by the way. We became number one in July, but that was not on a cumulative basis. But in August, we were not only number one in August itself, but also on a cumulative basis in this financial year, we are now the number one manufacturer. Now, that was one objective that we started off with the year. The other objective was to get Nexa up, and I'm glad Nexa cumulative basis is now the number 3 brand in the industry. July, it was the number 2 brand in the industry after Maruti Suzuki. So there's some of the good and significant achievements thanks to our enhanced portfolio, especially in the SUV sector. And Maruti Suzuki has always been, very aggressive in introducing of new products, and that it still continues. So while I'll not be able to give you the specifics of what product introduction we'll have in the near future, but yes, we would definitely like to keep delighting our customers with new offerings all the time.
New offerings all the time would be an SUV or a sedan, sir?
So it's difficult for me to, be specific
Sure.
regarding our product
Sure. So
plan.
last question, sir. Last question to you, sir. With the great growth momentum, continuing from Maruti Suzuki, the chairman also expressed a lot of positiveness on the India story and also for the company at the AGM. And also now we are seeing that the Maruti shares are at an all-time lifetime high, sir. What do you think will continue the momentum for the company? Would it be the good management and of course the good production capacities? Or would there be any reason to worry about in the near future?
No, of course, we live in a very competitive world. Auto industry in India is also very, very competitive. So obviously, Maruti Suzuki has to continue to be customer centric and try to introduce new products in the portfolio according to what the consumers want. And of course, they to try to always increase customer satisfaction. That's the key to keeping our leadership. And of course, our chairman had mentioned that we are looking at projections of 4 million in the next few years in 2030 or so, 3 million from the domestic market, 700 to 800,000 from the export market, and restaurant for the OEM supplies. Right now, our capacity is 2 million plus, just a little bit. So we have Kharkhoda plant coming up, starting in a couple of years' time, and then that still means that we are 1 million short of capacity from the projection. That's the reason why we are, the management is now looking at increasing the production capacity with one more plant of capacity 1 million. So India seems to be in a good space. Right, even now, the penetration of cars per 1,000 population in India is only 30. So there's a big upside considering, the richer countries are at 600 plus, 650, some countries even at 700 plus. So there is a lot of potential. And I think the market projection, therefore, of 6 million by 2030 gives us that real confidence that provided Maruti Suzuki can do well in terms of being customer centric in its processes and also in terms of enhancing its portfolio according to the market, we should be able to get to our objectives that we had outlined earlier.
So, but the investors are happy and it's showing in your stock price. What do you think what is the future of the stock price of Maruti Suzuki?
So it's difficult for me to predict the stock market prices, but of course it's great to see Maruti consistently yesterday closing above 10,000. So but let's see, I mean, the stock market is one thing, but really it's the good operations and the customer satisfaction, the volumes and the market share, which is what we are focused on.
And so lastly, are you ready for the Bharat NCAP testing norms, sir? We know that you have offered 4 models, sir. What would that be, and how affected would you be for the entry level car segment, sir?
Yeah, so we are examining because the BNCAP regulations, once we study them in detail, already we have offered some vehicles for being tested. That's that part of the voluntary testing program. And yes, we'll be able to give you more details once we get into the finer detailed study.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.